The shooting phase is where the bullets start to fly, as your army unleashes devastating salvos upon the enemy. Here, all your units with guns, missiles, cannons and more get to fire their weapons. Start your shooting phase by selecting one of your units with a ranged weapon to fire. Remember, units which advanced cannot be chosen in the shooting phase. Check the datasheet to see what weapons your unit has and to see their ranges. To shoot at an enemy, your unit needs to be able to see the target and be in range. Take a look at the target from behind your unit for a model's eye view. If they can see the foe, check if you're in range by measuring a direct line between your unit and its target. If the distance is equal or less than the weapon's range value, you're able to fire. If not, see if there are any other targets you can shoot instead. Some units have more than one weapon available. A unit can fire all its weapons at the same target, or fire the different weapons at different targets. You are free to choose. Don't worry if some weapons in a unit are out of range. You can still shoot with all the weapons which are. With your target and weapons chosen, it's time to see if your shots find their mark. This is called making attacks. Making attacks has 5 steps, which you complete in order. 1. Hit roll. When a model makes an attack, make one hit roll for that attack by rolling a d6 and compare the result to the attacker's ballistic skill, sometimes written as BS, on their datasheet. Here, you can see that a Necron warrior has a ballistic skill of 3+. That means that any hit roll of a 3 or more is successful. Proceed to the next step. A roll of a 6 is always a success. If the roll is unsuccessful, the attack has failed and stops here. 2. Wound roll. Each time an attack scores a hit on the target, make a wound roll for that attack. Roll a d6 and compare the result to the wound roll table shown here. To use this table, you need to know the strength of the attacking weapon and the toughness of the target. Compare them using this table to see what score your wound roll needs to be successful. A wound roll of a 6 is always a success. Comparing a Necron's Gauss Flare to a Space Marine's toughness, we see that the Necron player needs to roll a 4 or more to wound. If your wound roll is successful, proceed to the next step. Otherwise, the shot has had no effect and stops here. 3. Allocate attack. If the attack successfully wounds, the player controlling the target unit selects one model in the unit. This model will need to make a saving throw in the next step. If a model in the target unit has already lost any wounds earlier in the game, even in this same phase, it must be selected first. 4. Saving throw. The player commanding the target unit makes a saving throw by rolling a d6. Compare this result to the target unit's save characteristic as shown on the datasheet. Some weapons are so powerful that they blast through armor with ease. This is represented with a modifier known as armor penetration, or AP. A Gauss Flare has AP -1, so when you have a saving throw after being hit, you reduce the amount you roll by 1. As you've just seen, this Necron warrior with a Gauss Flare successfully hit and wounded a Space Marine Assault Intercessor. The Space Marine player rolled a d6 and got a 3. Normally, this would be a success. But because you now subtract 1 from the roll due to AP, it goes down to a 2, which means the saving throw has failed. If the saving throw had been successful, the target's armor would have protected them, and the attack sequence would end. Since the saving throw failed, thanks to AP, proceed to step 5. 5. Inflict damage. The player controlling the target unit now resolves the damage caused by the firing weapon. The model chosen in step 3 loses 1 wound for each point of damage listed in the weapon's profile. If a model is reduced to 0 or fewer wounds, it is destroyed. Remove it from the battlefield. If a model loses several wounds from an attack and is removed, any excess damage inflicted by that attack is lost and has no effect. The Necron Warrior's Gauss Flayer has a damage of 1, and our Assault Intercessor has 2 wounds, so he lives to fight another day. Make a note that the chosen Space Marine has 1 wound remaining. If you want, you can use a visual reminder, such as placing a token or a dice next to him, with the 1 facing upward. Once all this is done, the attack is complete and you are free to make the next attack with your unit until you have attacked with all the models in it. Then, select your next unit and repeat the same steps until you have attacked with every unit in your army that you want to. Making multiple attacks together. As you get more experienced with the game and your army grows, you might want to speed up your gameplay by making multiple attacks at the same time. This is really easy to do. In step 1 of the attack sequence, simply count the number of models of the same type with the same weapon and make all their attack rolls together. This also applies to wound rolls. Your opponent can then allocate the successful wounds one at a time, making saving throws and suffering damage as appropriate. This makes the game play faster and more smoothly. Special rules. Some types of armor and force fields are so effective that their saving throw is never modified or cancelled. These are called invulnerable saves. Similarly, there are some attacks so powerful that they ignore saving throws and invulnerable saves completely and inflict what are known as mortal wounds. There are even some warriors in the galaxy who have the ability to shrug off wounds they receive. Ranged weapon types. Of course, in a galaxy this big and violent, there are lots of incredible weapons out there. Many weapons in the game have special rules of their own, from ones that fire huge gouts of flame or acid, to bombards that launch shells high across the battlefield, and many more. You'll find each of these is explained along with the weapon's profile on the unit's datasheet. Part of the fun of Warhammer 40,000 is learning how to use them to best effect in your games. But for now, don't worry about them. As you become more experienced at Warhammer 40,000, you'll want to look up these advanced rules to see how they affect your games. Next up, the charge phase.